Good afternoon, Kyle with Scientific Restoration. We're in Palmdale, California. I'm a triple master, expert in water and fire mold. We're here to give a life scenario of complications of a Cat 2 water loss. We're on day 3. We've dried out the structure. We've mitigated and contained all the mold, and now we're prepping for demo. So we have a containment, it's pressure fitted. We've got 2x4s with pressure foam lining. This is a 40-minute 6 mil fireproof rated. We've got our Pascals with our manometer, and then we have our microbial signs for safety. Let's come in. So we have a pressure fitted containment here. It's very, very simple, and I do not see a lot of contractors do it. We have a 1x2, a lot of times we use 2x4s, and what we do is we spray an adhesive with the foam lining. This is pressure fitted, there's no nails, no screws, nothing. Then our 6 mil plastic tape can go right to it, and it's a lot more durable when you have negative air. So we're in a contained environment. This is an office that was built off from a garage. They have pre-existing conditions here with mold. We don't know what the cause is. There's no plumbing in this area. In a normal scenario, I would highly recommend, which you're gonna put on an N95 NIOSH mask, full face or half face. Full face is better. But in this situation, for educational purposes, we went ahead and contained where the visible mold is at. This room was an office that was later on put into effect of storing antiques. So first thing we had to do is address the antiques. We took the antiques off site to our cleaning facility where we were able to assess the damages, inventory everything, and then dry what needed to be dried. We've installed dehumidification, we've stabilized the air, we're less than 40% relative humidity. We have negative air scrubbers vented out. We're at -6 pascals with our nanometer. And if you look, you can see obviously a significant amount of water damage. You've got separation of paint, you've got peeling, you've got swelling, and you also have a chase here. This chase here is gonna have to come out. This is an exterior insulated wall. Most likely it's a firewall as well. We've had a lot of shear wall. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're not gonna dry this right now. We've mitigated the atmospheric conditions to where mold's no longer gonna grow, but we're gonna demo all this. Another issue that we have here is we have a water heater. This was the source of the water loss. This water heater had to get replaced. We had to get the homeowners with hot water, running water, so they didn't have to get displaced. So we did a temp hookup where we were able to get them water on the ground. It's not ideal conditions, but it's gonna work for now. We're gonna go ahead and demo all this, rebuild the platform, put that up, and be done. So this is the unaffected living space. You can see, obviously, we have a step down. We're on a slab, it's tile floors. We have a laundry room, a bathroom, and a bedroom that's affected. That was carpet. It is Cat 2. However, we had to remove this carpet because there was settlement of dust and debris that was coming out like mud. We went ahead and contained the bathroom, and the reason why is because the bathroom had mold under the vanity. By containing that, it stops and prevents any viable mold from growing on hygroscopic wet building materials. That's gonna grow mold and create issues down the long run. So that being contained, we're able to dry out all the building materials that we wanted to dry out, and then now we'll later address the mold separately. So we're in the bedroom. The source of the loss is common to this wall on the other side, which was hot water. You could obviously see a significant amount of separation of drywall damage and paint damage. This is an exterior wall. We're gonna remove this insulated wall. There's no sense in drying it. We do have a little bit of visible mold. We removed all the contents. A lot of the contents, it was like a waterfall. We have a TV, for instance. What would you normally do with the TV? Well, with us, what we do is we reverse the drying process of corrosion by using deionized water. So because that electronics had gotten wet with corrosive normal water, we take it to our facility before drying it, we de-energize it, and then we basically reflood it with deionized water, and then in a controlled environment of a dry room, we'll dry it, and then we'll test it and assess if we were successful at restoring that TV. Clothes, same thing with clothes, we have an Esporta machine. So First things first that we obviously went ahead and addressed was content manipulation, inventory everything. It's very important. A lot of people do not take enough photos. Photos. It's the most important thing to your job. This is the only industry that you get paid to document to get paid, if that makes sense, right? So we separate the garments of clothes. What you don't want is, you don't want no dye migration. Blue jeans that are wet, that are gonna have that blue dye that's gonna now migrate onto a white shirt, something like that. So we do mitigation control, right? So we're gonna separate our clothes so that all those wet sopping clothes aren't going to get ruined in our chain of custody. So we've removed everything out of here. We've taken stuff off site. We're gonna go there after this, but we've contained their contents while we do a demolition. Obviously, we're gonna remove a little bit of the ceiling, and we're gonna remove this wall basically to the end of this here window. All the other walls have been addressed. They've already been dried. We're in perfect conditions right now where mold will not continue to grow. We're about 20% relative humidity, and it's like 86 degrees in here. So we've pulled out all of our dehumidification, all of our drying equipment, and now it's time to assess the obvious damage. So everything's dry. Now we have to address the mold. We have mold in this bathroom. The vanity has to go. So we've pressure fitted again. We've got 2x4s with foam lining. Nothing is stapled or screwed or anything to the actual wall. We have no wall damage. It's all screwed, stapled. You can also use roofing nails right to your 2x4. This is under negative pressure. You can see the convex of this is extremely negative. So one of the things we needed to do was have some makeup air. So we put a particulate filter, and now we have exhausted air going in there so that it's not as negative as it is or should be. Next, we have our Decon Chamber. So when they go ahead and do the demolition and mold remediation, this chamber is going to go right in front so that they are properly donning and doffing, so we have no cross-contamination. Once all the mold has been addressed and we've removed all the mold, they're going to go ahead and, even in the areas that do not have mold, we're going to wall wash and HEPA-vac and make sure that everything is clean as possible so we get that nice pass on the air clearance. So storage is an issue. We've already got a pod. We put all the wet contents in there to mitigate. We've dried them. We removed those contents, taken them off site, and we removed dry, unaffected contents into the content pod. Now we have to address the mold in here.